that whenever you see this kind of a structure, you have to follow four ideas. Number one, h4 h5, you exchange and h5 becomes super open. Number two, because you will be playing h4 h5, your king has to castle on the long side so that the king becomes safe. And it doesn't make sense to castle here right now because the rook will be sitting on f1, and then h4 h5 is not that strong. So we have to castle long, we have to play h4 h5, and that these are the two things you have to notice. The diagonal for the bishop should be this, because the whole idea is once we exchange here.
So,
Yes.
so the bishop should be, so the bishop should be in the open.
Yes.
Like
exactly. It should be on the open diagonal. And also the whole idea is you have to pin the pawn. So the bishop pins the pawn. It means we can improve a lot of pressure on this guy. Because after we take on g6, pawn takes. If we again attack g6, can this pawn defend it? You guys?
no, sir.
No, because it's pinned. That's why the right diagonal for the bishop is usually this. So let's start first of all with h4. Now, when they have played h5, remember my point is to play h5, but he is stopping me. So first of all, I have to achieve g4,
Yeah.
right? But g4 doesn't look safe right now. So first of all, don't worry too much. You don't have to rush it. First of all, you castle here and then you prepare for g4. Now, you have to understand the idea. How do you prepare it? The way to prepare is you can play knight to h2 and then probably pawn to g4. Just to illustrate, you go here, you go here.
And you never want to play knight to g1 because it will undevelop the knight.
And see, that's why I'm bringing it out again in the game. Okay, now again, we have seen this kind of a move before. Slightly different. What do you want to do now?
So we can take.
You can
Why?
take. You can take.
So go back to b3.
Now I see some different opinions. So one is saying there we go b3 back. So there are two suggestions. Anyone else wants to?
There is. Now we can go to d3.
D3, okay. So that's why I'm seeing different opinions. So Devan has answered take. Anvesh said go back to B3. Avik said go back to D3. What about Gauri? What do you say, Gauri? What do you want to do with the bishop?
Sir, I think b3.
Okay. What about Rayansh?
I gave you.
You also say B3. Okay. What about Rayan? What about Rayan? B3. B3, yeah. Okay. So now let me explain why one move is better than the other. In my opinion, I feel just takes is fine. Remember, you are having a pawn structure like this, correct? Suppose you go here, and then what they might do, they might play something like pawn to a5 and pawn to b4 and try to exchange and open up your king. So you don't, the way we are doing the same thing on their side, they want to do the same thing on our side. So we don't, if we are having the chance to just win a free, it's fine to win. And the queen will also coming, like queen is also coming a bit close to the king side. So,
For us now.
and again, where do we put the queen now? We have to come back and see if we can face this diagonal nicely. We can put it like that, no problems. So I can play here. And then again, I want to return back to my original idea, which was to take and bring pieces and go for the attack. Okay, so now I have to be very careful. My plan is to again push the pawn, but right now this knight is actually getting active. Now, one thing what comes to mind is that we can obviously come back. Okay, that's not a big issue. But then he might take us. If we get the chance to take, this is very good, right? So how can we exchange here? We can take my bishop and just capture. And then capture by the queen. And now I can just take. Understood?
Yeah, so, but if the queen doesn't capture it, getting the queen is actually better.
Yeah. So, okay, and now returning back to the same plan, we go here, and now another pawn will again go here. Okay, now we have to be very careful. Okay, very, very careful. Now, what
Wait.
is the better way
Friends,
to play this? Now try to understand again. You have to protect your checkmate, right? That comes without discussion. But you are having an intermediate move right now. Do you know the meaning of intermediate moves, guys?
yeah.
What is an
Yeah.
intermediate you can see right now?
Intermediate. No.
There's one.
Queen B3?
Pawn takes F7.
Pawn takes F7 is the intermediate idea because it comes with check. So there's no checkmate on you. It's important that we remember these small basics. I can take, check, rook will take, and now it's pinned. Okay, but now we have to make sure that we don't blunder our checkmate. How do we defend here? Any suggestions? Now I'm
Sir, we can
Sir.
block with the knight.
Sir, knight B3.
B3 right, B3 knight, B3 queen, B3.
Knight B3, all of you, right? Any other moves
Yes, sir.
are also welcome. Ryan,
Pawn push. Pawn push to B3.
pawn push, okay.
Or pawn push to B4.
I don't think the knight is kind that much.
Okay, now let me explain. Any other suggestions so that I can start the discussion now?
Sir, I think this move is not that good, but like you can see this. Queen to B3. Queen.
Queen to B3. Okay, fine. So you are going for exchange of queens because Avik, we are how much plus?
3.
Three.
Yeah, so you are saying that we are +3, so let's exchange queens. Also, it is actually forced to exchange queen because suppose if he takes pawn, we are going to take the rook for free. That's one way to think, which is nice, I believe.
But like, sir, I'm not sure if it's
Yeah. So let me
my
explain.
real idea is knight to B3.
Yeah, so let me explain all the moves. I'll be discussing B4, B3, queen B3, knight B3. Now see, if you play B4, first of all, whenever you play your king like this, you want the pawns very, very close to the king. Because the moment you push pawns, guys, I have said it many times, you end up creating weak holes around the pawn chain. So the moment you push pawn, these two pawns will be on dark squares. What does it mean? Light
Squares
squares
are
are
weak.
weak. So you don't want to do that. So B4 can be exploited very quickly by A5. And if you take, then queen B2. You have to be very careful about that. B3 is a similar idea that now I can play A5 and at some point A4. So again, kind of a similar thing that we have to know. Now let's try to understand blocks. Blocks mean blocking by the queen, blocking by the knight. Suppose you do that with the knight. So the whole idea is that what is this knight doing right now? This knight is doing nothing at all. You are just protecting the pawn, which nobody is even attacking. And after this, you also make sure that you put more and more pressure on the c5 square. So suppose we play queen c5 next. And if he takes, we can also take. So knight b3 I like. Now regarding queen b3, the only problem is that once queen b3 is played, suppose I play something like just a random move out of blue. Suppose I play queen to a7. Now rook will attack the queen. So you'll have to move the queen away. And then the queen can enter and take f2 pawn. Or the rook can enter and take
F2.
So this is slightly you have to be aware of. So I like knight b3 idea. I'll just go for it. Now, because we are pinning this.
But that was the idea I was thinking, but I also thought about queen.
And now he is suggesting, the computer is saying, you know what? Let's exchange queens. So who does it help? Does it help white side or black side?
White side.
Exactly, white side, because we are more than +2. So we just want to go towards endgame and win the endgame. Now, obviously, he will take by any other way. Okay, fine. He takes by the pawn, connect the chain. And now we are also having some weaknesses we have to worry about. So we'll start improving our pieces. Improve yourself, protect your weakness, and then try to be aggressive. Slowly, make slow progress. No one has to rush anything. Again, we are having this move. By the way, okay, he's giving us a free pawn. Should we be happy about that and take it?
Yes, sir.
I think so. We are in the end game. There will never be a checkmate on us. I don't know what this move is. Hard to explain because The only point is he wants to kick us, which is fine, I guess. Not a big of an issue because we are also having our own ideas to enter. Now I'll be happy to again take some suggestions. How do we make progress?
Sir, we can take our rook to d2 and then take our other rook to d1.
Okay,
Doubling
that's
rooks.
one. That's one. Okay, agreed. Let's hear other students as well.
Rook to d7.
Rook to d7 is one idea, I guess. Okay, very good. Any other? I want all of you, show me your
Rook
moves.
to d7, we can do the other rook to d1. Then that will even be
Yeah.
better.
Sir, h5, h6.
Come again. H5.
H5,
Yeah, that's also good. Very good.
Sir,
Yes, Nivan?
sir, I would like to play rook g1. Rook g1.
Very tricky. This guy is very tricky. Now, the idea with rook g1 is, suppose he makes any move, we are having this check and fork. Very tricky idea. Okay, anyone else? Rayan and Gauri, you guys as well. Keep trying so that I can understand that you are finding ideas.
Yes.
Sir, maybe knight to e5.
Then bishop takes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so now I'll be discussing
So knight b7 and then to b6.
d6. Again, kind of a good idea. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to start trying to find answers. Okay, trying to find your moves because every student will have a different idea. Once you play the middle game, every student has a different idea. Anyone knows the rule of, there's a rule in chess which is always taught to the students who have just entered or maybe playing for some time. The rule is called 20 plus 40 plus 40.
What is that?
So it's called 20 plus 40 plus 40. And the rule is, whenever you have to improve your chess, you focus 20% in openings, 40% in the middle games, and 40% in the end games. So it's like 20 plus 40 plus 40 becomes 100. Okay. So this is
But the openings are, sir, the openings are easy because you need to play just
You
15
just have
moves.
to copy
and
it
you did-
exactly.
yeah, I mean, opening becomes a challenge once you achieve higher levels. Then you have to, be very careful in the opening. But once you're improving your chess, you have to focus a lot about middle games and end games. That's what many people have said. And that's what I also try to do. That you have to work on your middle game. That's why the assignments that you're also receiving are only about pawn structures. Okay. So I like all the ideas, by the way. Rook d2, d1, d7, d1, knight b7, d6, rook g1 there, h4, everything is just flawless. I like all the ideas. I want to just play, I can play any idea, by the way. I like even this, but the whole point is that after that, he can just say, you know what, I'll just move the king away. And now what you're trying to do. So that's one thing. After d7, the whole idea is I like this move the best.
Sir.
Because the moment the knight moves, we are happy to just exchange. Yes, Nivan?
So when we play rook g1,
Yeah.
he would go to king. He would go to probably king at
h7.
h7. So then we can go to O.
Yeah.
That
So
is
now
a
he's not
blender.
under pin. Okay. So if you go there, he might take us. So I like this move because it forces exchange of pieces very fast. And the only counterplay from my opponent that I see is rook f4, trying to say, you know what, move the knight. But we are fine. The moment we go here, the moment he goes rook f4, we say, you know what, please give me your knight first. So I go there. Remember, you have to do something about this guy, and he's challenging us, and we have to deal with it. If you move anywhere, you blunder the pawn. So it's important we don't do any blunders. Okay.
Then they can just
You can protect. It's the most simple thing, protecting.
Yeah, protect. You go here, king b2, and then move the knight. You go king
Sir,
b2.
now we are weak. Our king is weak.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the end game, Avik. In the end game, The only point is if there's no queen, nobody can attack very quickly. Nobody can infiltrate, yeah? So now this knight wants to jump here and we are trying to win this guy. First of all, you protect the pawn. Don't let anything loose. And now he's putting pressure. I don't think so that's required anymore. We can now improve our structure further. Go h4, h5. And now we go one more step maybe. Okay, there's a threat of a check. That's not a big of an issue. I think we can just go anyways. Okay, check. And now we can create a double attack, isn't it? We can go here, but there will be a check. So how do we deal with this? We can go up. Just make sure you don't blunder anything.
I guess we can go up.
Yeah, we can go up. And now the bishop is under hit. Please move it. Okay, now he's helping us. We'll be happy to take. And now just push. And now you make sure that his rook becomes passive. And the moment, okay.
Rook will have to sacrifice. No.
Yeah, you can even sacrifice. You know what? Because you're having you will be winning the endgame in which you're having these kind of things.
Why don't deflect that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
that's-
even deflect the rook, something like that. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's what
That's
I was
also a good move because
saying. For a knight. What is this?
yeah, I guess it works. He'll go f2 to hit my rook. Okay, fine. He's now trying to enter. Now I guess you should not allow any kind of counterplay, So let's just push it. I guess push queen and exchange, and then just go for the end game. Not to worry about too much. Don't think too much. He cannot take. We will take, and now just push. Okay, there's a check.
Getting a queen, sir.
And now this is completely finished. He'll be taking my pawn. Okay, he did not. Fine. Just ignore. Yeah, let him take.
Got it.
Push. Yeah, I guess just take. Push.
Not in the square to capture us.
It
Okay,
says stop.
If he goes here, check. So you have to be careful. So now maybe we have to move the knight somewhere to
Protect it.
Okay, so he's attacking a pawn here.
There's no way to defend the pawn.
Wait. Always there will be
That is the only way.
some ways.
There
will be ways.
the king.
Okay, so now we are having passers, but we have to be very careful with them. Okay, I guess we can go there.
Sir, it's a tie or it's a win for white. It cannot be a win
I
for
think it's a win. Whenever you're having connected passes, this is more than dangerous. Like they have no way to stop it. We just have to do checks.
All that knight can do is
Okay, check. Please move. And now how do you stop it? Okay, we can even go.
please
Just make sure we don't blunder anything. Yeah, just make sure we don't mess
Sir,
up.
you got two queens.
We go here. Okay, he has this square, but my knight is covering, so he has nothing, right? Now we just push. Or maybe just push king. Okay,
We push king, sir. King, no.
I believe you can now connect passers, yeah? You can now connect them. You connect and you push. Okay. Check, he goes there. That's a small issue. I believe now this leads. Okay, he's having this check. You can, you know what? You can say, let me just go here. And now we are ready to push. No moves, just push and make queen. Whatever they do doesn't matter. Check. And
we can make the other one also.
Yeah, just to have some fun. Okay, fine. Takes. And now you can just checkmate at your own pace. Whatever you want to do,
Sir.
everything is
Queen
fine.
king checkmate is very, very easy.
The best way is to just cut the king more and more. Keep cutting the guy. So now he has been cut. He'll go here. And now just keep cutting him.
It's very easy.
Yeah, just keep
I've done this. Oh,
and
you won.
now,
You won, sir.
okay, you go check, you go here, mate. What is exactly going on? Just sit quietly and just try to evaluate this position. And I will share you a story about this position. What should be the correct idea here? Look at, so how do you think actually? Let me just also tell you, how do you think about a position? Always divide the board into 3 parts. That's one way. And look at the pawn structures. Look at the king safety. And look at the position of pawns. You'll get a lot of weak squares and information about that. Look at which are the good pieces of black, what are the bad pieces of white, like that. Good pieces, bad pieces. Try to compare. It will take some time, but evaluate. So the first question that I asked was, which is the strongest piece placed in the from the black side? The correct answer is this guy, the knight, because it is centralized and it's the most active piece, because the knight is controlling all these beautiful squares. Remember, in the center, the pawn is on a dark square. It means light squares are slightly loose. And the knight is controlling kind of a good amount of squares from the center. The question I asked was, what should consider the pawn structure and what should be the right way to create the attack? So I've taught you guys this particular thing. That was your assignment. See, the only thing I changed about this position was the rook was not on h1 and the rook was like the king has not castled. But still, if you have seen this pawn structure, you have to always consider h4, h5. No one told me this h4, h5. So this is...
I was thinking, I thought why would give a flip on? Yeah, I was thinking. The right told.
So...
Sir, I told.
Isn't it exactly the same assignment that we have, seen? And I also give the hint that I will be showing the next position with slightly higher level. It's the same idea. Now, also,
Sir,
let me talk.
Already sent it.
Before we go h4, let me talk more about that. So this is pawn structure of black, and these pawns are on light squares, which are slightly weak, So the dark squares are slightly weak. Something like a4 is also a good move. Nothing, if you consider a4, it's also good move, but eventually you have to go h4, h5. That is the main idea. You can start h4 right away. So white was playing, and I will reveal the answer who was playing as white later on at the end of the class. h4 was the first move to start. Black played rook to e8 to open up e5. And once we play h4, we have to play h5. e5 was played. And now, again, we can find the third move. After h4, h5, we usually take. Why do we usually take? Because the rook sits here on h1 and we want to open up the h file. But right now, rook is not on h1. So we don't take once we achieve this structure. We have seen and we have understood that when the pawns are on the light squares, dark squares are always weak. How can we gain further control of dark squares? So we go, the third move is, first of all, you go h6. Because the bishop is guarding, he'll go back. And now he wants to take and open up. Now white played a very interesting knight g5. And the idea is, you cannot take me. Now white to play and win the game. Distract the defender and finish the game. 2 moves. Very easy. This is beginner stuff now. If he takes, he did not take actually. But if that capture happens, we have rook into rook, and queen f7.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. So that's one. So after knight went to g5, again we are putting more and more pressure on the dark squares. In the game, this knight went here. And now white took on e5, bishop took. And remember, I said knight on d5 was the most important piece from black. We want to get rid of that. So here white plays bishop e3 because I want to really capture it twice. But this guy is the defender. So bishop e3 is removing the defender. And here black played bishop check, king h1, and knight e3, rook e3, rook e3, f e3. In this position, it's completely equal. White is slightly better because white has rook f1 ideas. And we are putting a lot pressure on the f7 square. Remember I said, whenever you are having this kind of a structure, your bishop always wants to sit on this diagonal, right? Black played bishop e5. If you show me one move right now, black resigned after that. You show me one move and black resigned. Yes, Anway found it. And the move was knight e6, a beautiful fork, inviting the pawn to capture the knight. Bishop took pawn check, because now queen f8 is checkmate. So this is a defender. You distract it, you deflect it, and this becomes checkmate. Now, by the way, this position was played, exactly this idea was played by Sultan Khan. Has anyone heard of Sultan Khan?
Yes, sir.
No,
Sir,
sir.
I saw a video on him. Gotham just made it.
Yes, Sultan Khan has also defeated, by the way, Capablanca. I guess you might
Yes,
have heard
sir.
of Capablanca, right?
Capablanca, I know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this position was played by Sultan Khan, and he went for this idea so accurately. This idea of h4, h5, and not taking. Now, why can anyone explain me now why we are not interested to take in this position?
To weaken the dark squares more.
Yeah, but why earlier in the assignments I was saying always take, but now I'm saying not take.
Because the rook isn't there on the h file.
Exactly.